Welcome back to Process to Profitability. Today I am talking about business with intention from the point of view of websites. So let's think beyond a pretty design to understanding UX principles that can help you create a website with as much intention as you have put into your business. Let's start by talking about what UX is and why it's important. First, UX is user experience, and that is the way that somebody interacts with your product, service, whatever it is. In this case, it's website. So we want to create a website that has a good user experience. The way that somebody uses our website when they come there is easy for them to understand. It's quick, it's simple, it makes their experience feel really good. And that is going to help us as a business owner because those people are then going to be more likely to become our clients. And that's why it's so important to think about user experience instead of just creating a design that looks good. I see so many websites that look really pretty, that have all of the trendy colors and fonts and graphics and layouts, but they don't work well from a user point of view. The fonts are small and hard to read. So it looks good when you're looking at it on Pinterest, it catches your eye. But when you actually go to the site, it's hard to understand what they're talking about because you have to zoom in to read it. And that is where we see a disconnect between the aesthetics of something and the actual UX of it. So let's think about some of the key UX principles that are most important for websites. First is usability. We want our website to be usable by everybody. We want it to have good flow. It makes sense. It looks good, but it's clean. It's easy to read. We also want it to be accessible. We want websites that are accessible to anyone who wants to learn about our business. We want them to be easily readable. We want them to have captions. There are lots of things we can do when we think about accessibility as a value for our website. We also want to have websites that are clear and consistent. So let's be clear in what we're talking about. When somebody lands on your website, they should understand what it is you do and who you work for very quickly. We don't want to confuse them with unclear language. We also want to make the way that the website works very clear. We want to make sure that as somebody navigates through our website, they know what the next step is. They know where to go if they're looking for something specific. And we also want a website that's responsive. So mobile responsiveness is a huge piece of this. At least 40% of your traffic is coming to your website from a mobile device. And so we want to make sure that that is very well thought out, just like the desktop design that you and I are looking at when we're behind the scenes. So how do you know if your website has a good user experience or if there are UX issues? I want to guide you through the process of identifying UX issues by conducting some simple user testing and then encourage you to think about how your customers are using your website so that you can see that journey from an outside perspective. First, I want you to do some user testing, and we talked about this in a previous episode with heat maps, so you can go back and listen to that one. That's a great way to see how people are using your website and where there might be issues. There are also other tools that you can use that will show you color contrast or what your website looks like to somebody who is colorblind. Another way we mentioned in a previous episode is to just watch somebody else use your website without telling them exactly what to do and see if they can figure out what you do, where to go, how they can work with you, and what they would do in order to get in touch with you. I really want you to put yourself in the shoes of your ideal client who is coming to your website. Think about if they Google you and they come to your website, what is their user experience going to be? What's their journey going to be like? And are there any places along that path that might prove to be stumbling blocks that we can ease through the way that we design? A couple of the pain points that I see most often are slow loading times. So if you go to Google PageSpeed Insights, you can see how your website is loading. And if it is slow, A, people are not going to stick around long enough to let it load, and B, that's going to cause a lot of frustration for the people who do want to check out your website. The next one is unclear navigation. So if you have links that are confusing, maybe because they're labeled something that is not standard or because things are all over the place, that is going to turn people off very quickly. And then if you have a lack of accessibility features, there are some websites that have an accessible mode you can turn on and off, but most of the website platforms that small business owners are using don't offer that. So we just want to think about accessibility when we're doing our initial design. Think about the font sizes and colors that you're using. Think about how we can add captions to our blog posts, transcripts to our podcast episodes, those types of things. And then another thing is if we have a lot of broken links on our site, that can be extremely frustrating for people. If you are linking to something that they're interested in and they click on it and none of those links work, they're not going to want to stick around because they don't trust your website to offer what it says it does. All of this comes back to our previous series of data-driven decisions. We want to look at the data, how people are using our website, what the results they are getting are, and see how we can then improve this user experience to get better results in our business. So, what are a couple of actionable steps you can take to improve your website's UX and make it more than just a pretty design? First is streamline your navigation. Simplify your website's navigation by reducing the number of menu items and providing clear labels. On most of the websites I design, I like to have a about page link, a services page, contact page, and a blog page. That's it. If you have multiple services, put them in a drop-down menu. That's going to make it clean, simple, and people are easily going to be able to figure out how to move through your website. The second thing is optimize for mobile experience. Ensure your website is responsive and mobile friendly because so many people are going to be visiting your website on a mobile device. And most platforms allow you to do this really easily. They have a way that you can design the mobile alongside the desktop, but start by just taking some time to look at your own website on your phone and see what it looks like. The third thing is to use clear call to action buttons and use them effectively. You want them to stand out with a contrasting color, use clear language about what's going to happen next, and place them strategically on your page so that it guides visitors to take the desired action. I like to tell people that especially on a long sales page or a services page, you want a call to action button every 2 to 3 scroll lengths. So nobody has to scroll to the top or bottom of your page to click on that button. They can always find it very quickly and very easily. So we've talked a lot about what user experience is and ways that you can improve it. And I just want you to take away that when we're building a business with intention, it goes beyond just the things that we do in our business. We also think about things like our website and intentionally go beyond a pretty aesthetic design to create one that it has a good user experience that works for our potential clients and the people who are visiting our websites. Ultimately, this is going to improve your business success because you are going to be reaching more of the right people by creating a website that is strategic and still looks really good.